Hello again, and welcome back for another Brain Coach tip. I'm Jan Bedell, the Little Giant Steps Brain Coach. Thank you for spending your valuable time here at BrainCoachTips.com. There are more and more families seeking help for their children to function better emotionally, behaviorally, as well as academically. One way you can be informed about these pitfalls and how to avoid them is to listen to some of the previous Brain Coach Tips podcasts. These episodes have been done on a wide range of subjects, so whether you have a gifted, typically developing, or challenged child in your home, there is something here for everyone. Please share the BrainCoachTips.com website with someone you know. You just never know when you might be answered prayer for someone you didn't even know was struggling. Today, I just want to chat with you, friend to friend, mother to mother. We do have a common bond, you know. If you have a child that's struggling developmentally, socially, emotionally, academically, then we really have something in common because that's where I was 25 years ago. Let's just pretend that I'm sitting across the table from you. You've been listening to other podcasts and it's all starting to make sense. That's what happened to me. It all just made sense. So what I want to do here is just be able to advise you. I've been listening over the years over and over to the story, so I'm very familiar with what many of you are going through. And what I want to do from there is direct you to things that can help. Now, when I started in this, I really needed an exact track to run on, as my train to educate Janae had totally run off the tracks, especially where it came to homeschooling. I just didn't know what to do, and I really was ready to give up. Not only did I need someone to tell me something to do that would make a difference, I needed a way to track her progress, and I needed support. As you probably already know, it's a hard journey. God will show you many things about yourself and about the world through the struggles and the triumphs of your children. This is especially true if they have struggles. If this is you and you need a track to run on, I'm going to outline the options available through Little Giant Steps. I started this company 20 plus years ago to equip moms that were in the same place I was in, needing direction, needing support, guidance, and assurance that you're on the right track, that there really is some light at the end of that dark tunnel. I have seen it in the past, but it's a very rare individual that can take just the information from the NeuroDevelopmental Approach DVD, apply it, and stick to it long enough to get lasting results. You really do have to build the foundation. You know, early in my career as a neurodevelopmentalist, I had seen the results of changed lives. I had experienced it in my own family with severe issues and then seen people with not as severe issues have tremendous success too. As I started, I just felt locked and loaded to change the world. I went from group to group, teaching the techniques that are on the NeuroDevelopmental DVD available at the Little Giant Steps store. And at the end of every presentation, there would be a line of people waiting to ask me questions. From the questions that they were asking, I knew that that child wasn't going to get the help that they needed to resolve the issues that I was hearing about. That's when I took action to develop easy-to-follow programs that incorporated the neurodevelopmental approach step by step, a track to run on for parents. A support team was also put in place. We found it was much easier to navigate your way through the maze with a support team. During all the years of work in this field, I've always been on the lookout for anything that would help my clients. God has recently brought a remarkable health breakthrough into my path that will help to take care of many of the metabolic issues, that internal chemistry that oftentimes is very off with children and adults that are struggling. It's actually one of the root causes of behavioral and learning issues for many individuals. When your internal chemistry is not working right, it's hard to learn, and when you don't feel good, you're oftentimes very cranky. There are so many things that individuals are dealing with today from toxic influences in our environment. There are gut issues causing gluten and dairy intolerance, and one of the latest issues that has been discovered is something that they label MTHFR, which is basically trouble with methylation and enzyme production. Methylation is the cycle that manages or contributes to a wide range of critical body functions, including detoxification. If you can't detox, you get sick. It helps manage your immune system, your energy production, and maintaining your DNA. That's the building blocks of every cell of your body. The enzymes in your body keep you alive. Without enzymes, we wouldn't be able to breathe, swallow, drink, eat, or digest. In other words, we wouldn't be able to survive. Dealing with metabolic issues is one way on the road to let's fix it. That is to make a shift so our body works better and our brains are fueled. I'm starting a special offer. If you would like a 15-minute free metabolic consultation, I want you to email us at office@littlegiantsteps.com. There will be a survey sent to you, and then options of available appointment times will be sent after we get the completed survey. This survey will allow us to spend all the time on the phone call with you with solving the issues instead of you having to take time to tell me about all the issues. I believe it's time to take action, both metabolic action, which is the chemistry of the body, and neurodevelopmental action. Let's get busy and fix it. I'm going to tell you some scenarios that you might be dealing with and then give you resources that you'll be able to look at. As I said, it's a rare individual that can go it alone without reassurance along the way that efforts will be rewarded. Most people need specific instructions to feel confident. They need encouragement to keep going, and they need direction for the next step because, unfortunately, changing the brain is a process, and it's a multi-month process. Sometimes it takes several years. You can view testimonies on the Little Giant Steps website for various products and services or various conditions that you might be interested in researching. These are wonderful stories to hear, but the most impactful thing that I have experienced in my life is for a mom to patiently wait to talk to me at a book fair. I might be talking to a lot of people and they just wait, and I see them out of the corner of my eye just waiting patiently. And when it's finally their turn, I find that they're just waiting to thank me for the difference that this approach has made in their family. I'm truly blessed to have such a message to share. So let's look at some different scenarios. I'll tell you where I would recommend that you start to fix it. There are so many different issues out there. Please be patient for a few minutes if you don't hear yours right away until I get to the one that relates to the issues that you are dealing with. Let's start with those that are from birth to age 2. If there are developmental issues here, the very best thing to do is either a jumpstart program if you're not close to one of our evaluation sites in Texas. With the jumpstart, we would look at an extensive history form, and based on the information we have there, we would write an individualized program for that child. This includes the support, both phone and email, and the training that you need for each one of the activities so you're very sure about exactly what you're supposed to do. From there, you do every 4 months the program needs to change because, especially in that age, they're changing so much. After the brain has developed those pathways and those are secure, then we need to move on to other areas. So this can be done for a child with some pretty severe issues between 0 and 2 years old with either a jumpstart program or an in-person evaluation. The only difference in these two is that I would see them individually, so you would have to bring them to one of our centers, and I would do a neurodevelopmental assessment looking at 6 different areas: their auditory function, visual, tactile, manual, language, and mobility. In each one of those areas, we look at 9 different levels of development and find out where the glitches are and write the program based on the history form and our evaluation. It still has the same support as anything else, and those are done usually every 4 months as well. Let's say your child just has a speech issue. They are just not able to consistently make the sounds that they need to make to have clear speech. In that case, if everything else is pretty much okay developmentally, then we can do what's called a mini program for speech. This could be done for any age child with a speech issue. What we do is work at the foundation level, developing those nerves and making sure the tongue is connected to the brain, so that it can be moved correctly. It's a very effective and unique approach to speech issues. If a child is between, say, 3 years old and 6 years old and has any number of syndromes, developmental delays, autism, those kinds of things, then a jump start or an in-person evaluation is often very beneficial as well. Now, if the child is fairly high functioning, then what you can start with is an early learning foundations. Early learning foundations is a neurodevelopmental approach that has activities for those 6 areas that I talked about in the curriculum. And it also has pre-writing, pre-math, and pre-reading type skills that are developed in that program. So that's a really good place to start. And we have a Facebook group where you can ask questions. So if you need to adapt to the curriculum a little bit for your child, go a little bit slower, go a little bit faster, or if some of the things are just past them, but others they can get, we can customize that through this private Facebook group. So Early Learning Foundations Level 1 is neurodevelopment plus math skills that are at the foundational level. In other words, they're learning their numbers, they're learning one-to-one correspondence, which ones are larger, those kinds of things as far as the math. And then in Early Learning Foundations 2, it's more of a kindergarten level. So they're going to be reinforced on all of those things, reading larger numbers and counting by 10s and 5s and different skills like that, as well as bringing them into addition and subtraction with a very effective approach to teaching math. This also includes the addition rapid recall, so they're learning their math facts at that level as well. Now, if they have the basic understanding of addition and subtraction with one digit, you might want to consider Early Learning Foundations 3. All of the Early Learning Foundations are neurodevelopmental programs, and they have math added to them. When they come out of Early Learning Foundations 3, they should be able to go into something comparable to Saxon Level 3. So it's going to take them through first and second grade materials. And all of that neurodevelopment so that their brain is organized, so that their processing is up, both auditory and visual, and they just can function better because they have that foundation for learning everything after this. So if you have a child between the ages of 4 and 8 that say are high functioning autism, syndromes similar to Down, and developmental delays, or maybe a low IQ, Early Learning Foundations 1, 2, and 3 is a place to start. Again, it has that neurodevelopment built in, but you can customize it to where they are with their math. That's why we labeled it levels instead of grades. So it does have kind of grade equivalent. Level 1 is preschool level, level 2 is kindergarten level, and level 3 is like first through second grade level of math. After you've had this foundational level, you will want to move on to a more individual program like a Jump Start to go past that generic building block to development to more specific for that individual. So Early Learning Foundations is not a solution to these issues of autism and syndromes and low IQ and developmental delays, but it's a really good place to start, and it can help you not have to be on an individualized plan as long because you have that foundation. I hope that makes sense. This team at Little Giant Steps will be with you all through that journey and help you to know what the next step is. So that's just a place to start for those type of issues. If you have a child that has labels like ADD or ADHD, dyslexia, or it just seems to be struggling with remembering their academic information, and they are between the ages of 6 and 8, the lowest investment in a great foundation is to start with early learning foundations. You just pick the one that matches their math ability. An in-person evaluation is the best thing for anybody and is obviously available for children with these lesser issues. I mean, you think they're severe issues, but in comparison, they're really lesser issues when you just have ADD and dyslexia or somebody that's high IQ but struggling. So an individual evaluation is an option and can follow using the early learning foundations. And if you're living far away or maybe you're in another country, then the advanced brain training can also be an option that follows the early learning foundations as a second step. This would be more individualized. Advanced brain training is for those children that or adults that are 7 years old or older. And the reason that we do this is because we include some academics, so we'll know exactly where they are academically in math and reading, and can also help you with those aspects of their education. So you might say, I have a 7 or 8 year old that has their math curriculum already and I just love it. I don't want to change that or add a different one. The option for them when they have a pretty typical IQ and labels like we just talked about, ADD, dyslexia, that kind of thing, or you might suspect that they would have a label if you went and had them tested, the best thing to start with there is called developmental foundations. Developmental foundations is for really anyone 7 years old or older, and it's involved with a list of activities that you do that have to do with the tactile system, the lower level brain organization, processing, all of those basic foundational things that need to happen in your brain so that you can learn easily are included in this. So you have what's called web training, where we train you on all the activities that are to be done so you know exactly how to do them, and it includes all of the tools that you need to be able to accomplish all of those activities. Developmental Foundations is designed to do for about 4 months, and then you will probably want to move on to another product. And again, we guide you through all of that as you're going through it because there's support with this product as well. Developmental Foundations is so foundational, it really is for everyone. So you could take your whole family through this. They might not need every activity in here, but all the children need processing, and all of them need to work on their lower level brain organization, especially with the way things are happening in our culture that are deterring that development. So you can use it for all your children, or if there's adults with issues, they would do it too. It takes about an hour a day to complete everything on there, and part of it is something the children can do on their own if they're old enough. So it's not necessarily an hour of your time. I've had people delay some of their academics to be able to do this and then just fly with their academics. There's all kinds of testimonies that we have. One young man wanted to go to college, but he couldn't make the score on his ACT. He could only make a 14. And after 3 months on this, he was 17 years old. After 3 months on this program, he scored a 20 and was able to go to college. So from 7 to adult, this is a good option for many people. It does come with several different varieties. The Developmental Foundations Complete, if you look at the Complete Kit online, it comes with one operation of math facts, and you choose the one that you want to work with. And it comes with all the tools, again, that you need to complete the program. If all the math facts are in need in your situation, you can get a discount on that when you order the Rapid Recall, all 4 operations with the Developmental Foundations. So that information will be on the website. There is also a whole scope of all the different benefits of the activities there that you might want to look at on the Little Giant Steps website. These activities help the brain receive, process, store, and use the information that they're bringing in. If none of your children need math facts, what you do is order the Developmental Foundations Advanced. So you just think of a student that doesn't need math facts as being more advanced in math. And that takes out the math facts and it adds in a program for auditory and visual processing. It's a computer program that the child could use on their own, and then you don't have to do it with them all the time. So Developmental Foundations can really get you a long way down the road to improving your loved one's function. So I want you to consider looking at that. Now, if you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area or the Austin or Houston metroplexes, we have a service called NeuroDevelopmental Screenings. A screening is where we look at some key issues that might be holding a child back, like processing, brain organization, dominance, where they're storing information, and we give you a report and recommendations on what would help. Usually those are $30, and we do have some group discounts, so if you get a group together, we could do a screening in one of those areas. And also, we're doing these screenings at several of our conferences in 2018. So you can look at the website, Little Giant Steps website, for locations. We know we're going to be doing them in the Teach Them Diligently conferences and at other homeschool conventions as well. So just look on the website for those references, and that might give you a place to start. So just to review, if you have severe issues, then an individual evaluation, or Jumpstart if they're 6 and under, or advanced brain training if they're 7 and older, is what you would look at. And members of our team will be able to help you, guide you in which one to look at there. Anyone can be helped by an individual evaluation. I have people driving from all over the country to get an individual evaluation. But what I found is by working with Developmental Foundations and the Jumpstart and Advanced Brain Training, we can get so much accomplished before you even need to come, and maybe you don't even have to come. It really saves on travel. Now, this can also take the place of many therapies because you're doing the things at home that change the brain. And when you do them every day with short durations, and maybe sometimes several times a day, it's often more effective than once a week somewhere. Just something to consider there. If you have a young child, the Early Learning Foundations is a good choice for up through about 8 years old. And then Developmental Foundations, if you don't want to add the math component, is for 7 years old and older. Well, that's all the time I have for today. I hope that I have helped you in your journey toward understanding how to begin to fix it. Because when we stimulate the brain, it will respond. Remember about the free metabolic consults available too. If you know of someone that has metabolic issues, autoimmune responses, inattentiveness, emotional and behavioral issues, you can email office@littlegiantsteps.com to set up your free metabolic consultation. Other resources are following me on Pinterest for many ideas that I pin there that align with the neurodevelopmental approach. You can look for me at Jan Bedell, that's BEDELL Brain Coach, Jan Bedell Brain Coach. That's my Pinterest. We also have great questions and answer opportunities on Facebook. I encourage you to stay tuned where you will receive more Brain Coach tips to make life and learning easier. In the meantime, please visit our sponsor, Little Giant Steps. We are dedicated to equipping you as parents so that your children can reach their full potential. Remember, neurodevelopment is a dynamic approach to life at any age. So think differently. The solution is not in the problem. Until next week, it's the Brain Coach signing off.